All right. Derbyites, we're back once again for more Gold Derby content. We've just watched the Screen Actors Guild Awards, and I tell you what, I am beside myself because there's so much to talk about. It was the best award show I've seen in such a long time, and we'll talk about why. We'll also talk about the winners, and then, of course, we will talk about perhaps maybe what tonight's winners might mean for the Oscar race going forward. We're going to be having a really great time. We're still waiting for two more people to join us. But in the meantime, I'm really, really pleased to introduce once again Tom O'Brien and Chris Sang. Welcome, guys, to the chat.
Oh, thank you for having us.
This is going to be so much fun. While we wait for Jack and Matt to join us, don't you think, Tom, that this was just a fun show to watch? And we got no one got played off when they were giving their speeches. Yeah. There were no ads. It was perfect.
and you got the mood in the room that people were having an excellent time. They were just happy to be with each other.
Yeah.
And it really helped too that none of the nominees were very stuffy.
No,
it was wonderful, and you did get a sense of a feeling of camaraderie, which is really what you would really want to see in an award show, an audience that is very supportive of people up there holding that actor, and it was a wonderful thing to see.
It really was. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I went into this night thinking it was going to be so predictable, and then the two TV categories came, and I was like, okay, never mind. I will say, me and Jack earlier on Twitter had like a mini conversation where he floated the idea of Jamie Lee Curtis possibly winning tonight, and I was like, no. Because Stephanie Sue's going to take away enough of their votes that neither of them win, and that turned out wrong.
Right, and it's like I did not think that could happen because of the vote split situation that we always talk about. But I guess enough of the actors, her peers, really responded to the performance and also to her, just her legendary status. I think the same thing could have also been said for Angela Bassett. Unfortunately, she missed out. That's the second one in a row now. She missed out at BAFTA as well, as we know. So that's slightly alarming. But look, let's think about all the positive stuff. So, Chris, I feel like without sounding like you're just the token man of Asian descent in this chat, how did you feel about what James Hong said at the end and what some of the other winners were saying about representation? Because it's something that means a lot to me, and not personally. I just feel like it's something that we need to see more of. What do you think?
Oh, it's great. Like, this is the same way I felt when Parasite won 3 years ago. I mean, by the end of the night, when the ensemble came, I was like, gee, I wonder who's going to win. and I'm glad, because SAG is usually a very awards and nominates a lot of diversity. And it's just, they're probably like the one award show that does it the most with their winners. And it just goes to prove how much variety and diversity there is with everything. And I'm really glad they let James Hong speak, because
me too.
He's been doing. I first saw him on an episode of Seinfeld, and so it was great to see all that like come back.
Yeah, totally. I have a surprise. We have a new member of the team. Hey, Jack, nice to have you join us. Everybody's Jack Mahanes. So, like, I agree. I think it was amazing to have James Hong at the end when they all did their little bit and then they introduced James Hong. I got a little emotional because he is 94 years old. He's been around since the beginning almost. And we all know him from certain roles. and but I don't really think he's ever had a big breakout role, which would have given him an award. And now he gets to take home a SAG award. What do you think about that, Jack?
I thought that was awesome. And I think it was really interesting that SAG went really crazy for Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I'd say Tariq Khan called all 4 of those wins. Congratulations, Tariq. And he lost his mind when Jamie won.
Same.
Yeah, no, that was an amazing moment, amazing speech. You know, I think Everything Everywhere All at Once actors really made the most of their winning moments. And I think all of them did. And I think that this is just kind of, you know, it's going to have an amazing night at the Oscars. And yeah, we knew SAG was going to, you know, love this movie, but boy, did they love it.
Yeah. I have one more surprise. We have a final entrant in this group, Matt Noble. Thank you so much for joining us.
So great to join.
So Matt, we've just been talking about how happy we are about certain parts of the show. I would like to know from you what you thought about how Everything Everywhere All at Once swept. It won all 4 of the awards it was up for. That's incredible.
I'm sure someone's already made the joke that it was everywhere, like everything. They won Everything Everywhere All at Once tonight. So I'm probably late to the party on that one. But Joseph's like strong. I think this was really an opportunity tonight for the Banshees of Inisherin to make its big mark on the scene if it could get some upset somewhere, and it wasn't able to. So I think the fact that Everything won everything, including that supporting actress category, where it was a bit of an out. I'd say that was the one I was most surprised in with all of them, and it was the one that came first. Look, great night for the film, a really deserved for the whole ensemble, all really deserving performances, and I think it's very well placed for those Oscars now. Here we come.
Here we come. So let's unpack this bit by bit. Let's talk about just the SAG Awards themselves. So this is the first time it's streamed, on Netflix's YouTube channel because their arrangement with TBS and TNT finished last year. There was some time where we didn't know if the SAG Awards would even be televised, and thankfully Netflix came to the rescue. It will then stream on Netflix going forward for however many years a new arrangement will go for. This is a great welcome change. It shows me that an awards show being streamed means no ads. It means maybe they're a bit more relaxed on the censorship. They're a bit more free and easy to talk about what they want to talk about. And it means maybe they're not so obsessed with time and being under time because the news is going to start at 11, and so they can let the winners actually speak. That's what we're watching this for. We want to see what they have to say. So, Tom, what do you think? You've been covering this stuff for a really long time. What do you think about the SAG Awards, and how well I think they really parlayed themselves from network television or cable now to streaming?
It's a huge harbinger of things to come, I think. And I think that ABC would be well advised if they keep Hulu under the Disney banner to move the awards there when they can. Because especially with the Screen Actors Guild Awards, there's no host, there's no monologue, there's no painful comedy bits. It was just, they get down to business, but it's the most delightful business in the world because the presenters and the winners are just so happy to be there and be with their peers. And you can see in the faces of the people who won tonight that this means so much to them because it comes from their peers. And that came across loud and clear. And the fact that there were no commercials at all, you really felt like you were there in a way that you don't otherwise. When there are commercials, you're so aware that it's a TV show, but there was a sense of intimacy about it, which I really, really liked. And I think other award shows should keep a very, very big eye on because this may be the way to go.
Absolutely. Who else has something that they want to say about the show and how it was so different now that it's streaming?
It's more carefree.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No pressure, no notes. No, it really makes it well paced.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what you want. So.
Yeah. let's go through each of the winners and what we thought about them, and then we'll talk about the Oscars at the end. Because I feel like sometimes when we're talking about this stuff, we're all focused on how it's going to affect the Oscar race, but I don't want to like give them short shrift. I want to actually recognize the SAG Awards are a big deal, and as Tom alluded to earlier, for these winners, this acknowledgement means a hell of a lot to them. And I always find generally the SAG Awards to be really entertaining. It's just about the work. There's no pomp and ceremony. There's no interpretive dance and all the other nonsense that we have to put up with. It's just clips and winners. And that's what, and then of course they showed a lot of clips from years past, which I, really enjoy as well. So in the TV categories, we got two surprises right off the bat. Like, especially that 1883 win, I couldn't believe it. And Sam Elliott is a legend. He's been around for a very long time, and I loved seeing that. Matt, were you like me and just were completely shocked by some of these TV winners?
Yeah, it was wild, and like it's tricky because some of them were exactly who we expected, like Jennifer Coolidge and things. So it's like hard to know. Yeah. Like, some things exactly as expected, and others like Sam Elliott, I had bottom on the list of that crew. So I was really humbled with some of the awards. Yeah, and particularly I think like on the male side of things, him and Bateman were both like in one sense going backwards, not shocking. Like they're respected actors in the industry from work that has been well regarded, but just when you looked at the 5 nominees and you saw how things were lining up, not the people you were going with. So, yeah. Even Stranger Things winning stunts. Like, incredible. It's a great winner. Like, they've won Best Ensemble before as a drama in the drama series ensemble category. So we know the SAG liked the show. But, again, it was the bottom of my list.
Yeah. And... yeah, absolutely. So in actress, it was Jessica Chastain who won for George and Tammy. Yeah. Showed someone be thrilled with that. Yeah, beating Emily Blunt, Julia Garner, and the two frontrunners, Niecy Nash-Betts and Amanda Seyfried. So, Jack, I know you're a fan of Jessica Chastain. What did you think when her name was called out?
I lost my mind. Like I really was not. I did not see that coming at all. I thought Amanda Seyfried, or if not her, Niecy Nash. But I just think. Her win last year for the Eyes of Tammy Faye shows that she's very popular with this group. And I think now, she's not going to miss out on an Emmy nomination like she did last year for Scenes from a Marriage. I think she's definitely getting at the Emmys this time, and she might even be a threat to win. But yeah, no, that was the first win of the night, and I got so excited because I really didn't see that coming at all. I don't think she did either. And so, yeah, no, I'm one of the biggest Jessica Chastain fans you'll meet, and I was just thrilled for her.
Yeah, and then Sam Elliott wins for 1883, which we talked about, but it's like, I was like, well, I think this is the first Taylor Sheridan universe performance to win at the SAGs and probably win anywhere apart from Kevin Costner winning at the Globes a couple months ago or whenever it was. And I was super thrilled with that. Again, he was probably towards the bottom of the list in terms of what we were thinking, because it looked like Paul Walter Hauser or Evan Peters probably would have taken this one out. Yeah. So really great way to start the show, guys. And then we moved into the comedy categories, and they were less surprising, although Jean Smart winning, I would have probably not expected her to win again. I was thinking it would have been Quinta Brunson or Jenna Ortega or Christina Applegate. Did anyone? Yeah, go. You did? Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Does that? Yeah, go ahead. What do you think, Chris, about that? About that winner, Jean Smart winning? I didn't see that coming.
I don't know. SAG loves repeats. What can I say? SAG loves actors. I think Jessica Chastain and Jean Smart are like the new William H. Macy, Viola Davis, even Jason Bateman. Like they'll just keep, like they have so much respect that they'll just keep rewarding them if they have like the buzz, enough buzz.
You're right. Yeah.
And I also Jean Smart, and I feel like her and Einbeiner are just these stars of that show, whereas Abbott is such an ensemble-driven show. So it makes sense that, they split those categories. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead.
Any other comments about the comedy races before we move on? Okay, I know you're all
pretty easy to call, I think, for the most part. I just think the only question was comedy actress, and I just never underestimate how much SAG, as Chris said, loves repeats, and so that's why I thought that Gene Smart would win.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting how well we've seen the Bear do with these Guild Awards as well, picking up Guild Awards, and that like sort of gives it some real and other awards over this I guess winter in America. But it will be interesting to see when that show gets to the Emmys, where it'll still have the steam, and when the Emmys sometimes go a bit more for the more hard comedies in some of these races than the guilds do. So it will be interesting to see how things pan out when we get towards the Emmy races. But great work for Jeremy and the Bear, because that's such a great show.
And it'll be interesting to see how Jeremy Allen White fares against Jason Sudeikis when he has to face off against him this fall.
Yes.
Yes.
I still can't get over the fact that the Bear is listed as a comedy.
Greatest trick the devil ever pulled is making you think the Bear.
So we've had this debate a few times. Tony Ruiz, if he was here, he would take umbrage to that comment because he believes that it is a comedy. It's a dark comedy. I'm on two sides of that fence. I see where they're coming from, but
I think it's more like because it's a half-hour show, and that usually
I think it's the length that determines
that
it.
helps.
But I'm on the edge of my seat through the whole thing. It's just tense, and
it's very tense.
Yeah,
it is. Let's talk about drama before we move on. White Lotus winning 2 is not a big surprise. I was super thrilled to see all those amazing Italian actors included in the ensemble. This is a big moment for them. That they're over in America and they've been able to win an award like this. It's certainly going to help their career if they ever want to work in Hollywood. Jennifer Coolidge is a legend. I think now she's done the clean sweep. Doesn't happen very often. I can't quite remember the last time it's happened. I know Gillian Anderson's done it. I'm sure someone will come up with the other names, but good on her. Jason Bateman, I actually called that one. I thought that would happen. Wow. I know that they just love the guy. They love him.
That's true.
And SAG has been bigger on Ozark way before any other sports group was. Whether they were the first season they nominated Jason Bateman and Laura Linney when Laura Linney didn't get the Emmys, and then when season 2 was way more popular than season 1, and then he won when he was not predicted to win, and then he was actually all 3 times he won. He was not predicted to win.
The second he beat God damn, what's his name from the Crown? Josh O'Connor. The second he beat him when the Crown was sweeping, I was like, "Yep, they're going to award him until the series is
over." Matthew, how did you feel about Better Call Saul just leaving empty-handed?
I know. I'm used to Better Call Saul losing, but Odenkirk was the front runner this year, so I thought he had a real shot. So this is look, it's really really tragic that this show is going through and not winning awards. It's getting recognized. Clearly, it's a show that has respect from the industry. Some of these things, like I'm sure some years in some awards it's been second, and it's a bit like bit of the luck of the draw for what you come up against in what year. I think this was definitely a chance for Bob to win. I think the field was a bit like a few of those, Bateman's one before the last season of Ozark was not acclaimed to the level of the Better Call Saul final season. And as deserved as the White Lotus ensemble win was, it would have been great to see that Better Call Saul ensemble win too, because just there's so many great actors from that show, from Giancarlo Esposito, Ray Seahorn, Jonathan Banks. It would have been nice to see them all take one out, and Breaking Bad won for its final season. Yeah. So that would have been nice for Bob Odenkirk to have his 2 ensemble wins, like for the final season of Breaking Bad and the final season of Better Call Saul. So that would have been some nice symmetry. So I'm pretty upset. I don't know what this means for the Emmys. Better Call Saul is eligible. I know Succession is coming back. It seems like if anything, it'll be a tougher feat for it with more time. But you never know. You gotta believe, and hopefully they can break that 46 losses, 0 wins at the Emmys. There's still hope. There is still hope for Jimmy.
Don't give up yet. And
I've already accepted since the Emmys that Better Call Saul will break the record for most nominations without a win.
What is the show? What is the show that's had the most nominations without a win?
Well, I think it's a scripted show.
Yeah, scripted show. Yeah.
But with Succession and Last of Us coming, I'm like, it's over. There's no, I'm
They've got no reason
accepting
to
defeat early.
No.
Emmy voters, consider Saul, please.
please.
Please,
When we saw
I
this,
beg you.
when we saw those clips of the 5 ensembles, that clip for Better Call Saul had me on the edge of my seat. It just reminded me of how good that second part of that final season was. And I was expecting him to say Better Call Saul as a surprise, and then White Lotus took it. I'm very happy that White Lotus won. In fact, I love
Yeah, it was a deserving winner. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good ensemble, but
I have an article. I was waiting for the PJs and SAG to see how White Lotus would do, but I have an article that I'm gonna write about what their Emmy chances are now that it's officially a draw.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. We're about to move on to film. Does anyone have any final thoughts on TV? I don't like to say TV's lesser than, but I think in this moment in time, we really do need to talk about the film winners and how it affects the Oscars. That's what we're here for. So before we talk about the film winners, Top Gun Maverick won the Stunt Ensemble Award. Congratulations to them. That's a really tough category. You had Avatar, The Way of Water, The Batman, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and The Woman King. Good for Top Gun Maverick. Don't really think it makes much of a difference in this race at all in terms of Best Picture or whatever. But I liked that film. I really did. I enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite films of the year. I know a lot of people who love that film, so it's just nice that it wins something. So that made me really happy. Although I would have been very happy for the Batman or any of the other films to win, to be honest. All right, so the first winner of the film on the film side was Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that was the biggest surprise of the whole night, because when you think back retrospectively, you think, oh, maybe not. It makes sense. You know, she's a legend and she's very popular. They all know her. And she's really overdue. She's never really won anything. And I thought, no matter what some of the crazy people on film Twitter might think, I thought her performance in this film was fantastic. So I jumped out of my seat and fist pumped the air. I was thrilled that she won, and her speech was phenomenal. So let's all go around the circle and talk about what we thought about this win. Forgetting about the Oscars for now, let's just talk about what this means for her and what did you think about her win. Tom, you go first.
Okay, I think this is perhaps the most consequential win of the night. We've got a race again.
Yes.
And I love that. And, you know, it's very possible that the big winner tonight in terms of the Oscar race is Kerry Condon. She's got BAFTA, and Bassett didn't win here.
No, I know.
Because it was looking like it might be one of those legacy wins that sometimes happens in this category. And but she was expected, you know, BAFTA, we expected that it was going to be Condon. But here, I think she was coming in as the favorite, and a sentimental favorite, but worthy too. But this kind of throws a monkey wrench into the whole thing. Does Jamie Lee Curtis have enough strength on her own with an Oscar voting set? I don't know, because I think you're right. Other factors, legacy, you know, comes into play here, and the fact that a lot of actors have worked with her, you know, all through this entire career. So I think that, and she's just damn likable, and so it could be enough for an Oscar win. But I'm thinking that Bassett will have a certain number of people. I'm thinking Shu and Curtis may split, and I think Condon, with the BAFTA under her belt, could sneak through. So we've got a race, and I'm so excited. We've got something to talk about.
Chaos.
Yes.
I love chaos. Who else wants to talk about this? This is very important. Go ahead.
We have to give Tara Khan major credit for calling this. He wrote an article saying that this could be the shockaroo of the night. As soon as that applause for Jamie Lee Curtis happened, like before she did her "I'm an actor" bit, I was just like, "Oh, this is probably going to happen." And Tom, I think you hit the nail on the head. The thing I'm doing after tonight, I know we're not really talking about the Oscars, but But I'm gonna go with Carrie Condon because the other thing, Jamie Lee Curtis and Angela Bassett could actually split the veteran vote.
Yes.
And so that's something. And so I don't think Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to win 3 acting Oscars, but I think that this had to do with Jamie Lee Curtis's, star power and how long she's been doing this. And she's an icon. She's an American icon. And so, I think that I don't think she's going to win the Oscar, but it was really, really cool to see her get a major award.
Who else? Go for it.
Okay. I think she has had an incredible career. This is a great sort of award for her to have won as sort of a recognition of that, as well as it was a film that they loved. It was the SAG's favorite movie. They won 4 awards. They won every category they were nominated in. So it's this veteran actor winning an award for performing in their favorite film of the year. And I think the thing that it really shows Everything Everywhere All at Once's strength amongst SAG voters and actors, because this was the one category it was nominated in where there was a split vote potential. There were 2 nominees. So, everyone else, it was, if you loved Everything Everywhere All at Once, you were voting for Everything Everywhere All at Once. You were voting for Michelle Yeoh. You were voting for supporting actor. This one, some of the Everything Everywhere All at Once people may have voted for the other supporting actress contender. So I think it shows just how strong this film was with SAG voters, regardless of what that carries over to or doesn't carry over to. They love this film and they love Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. Chris.
Yeah, I think if you watch it back, all of the nominees' reactions when Jamie Lee Curtis was announced, including herself, says it all. And, it showed, SAG is such a populist group. So it's they when they like something, then they really, really like something. And but I agree. I don't know how much impact it's going to make. I do think this means Angela Bassett is done. This is the same Guild Award that gave Black Panther Best Ensemble. So if she can't win here, then I don't think she's winning at the Oscars. I'm also picking Carrie Condon for now. But the timing is just so, the fact that BAFTA was before SAG, the timing of it all is just so odd. And this is that. I think this is the first time BAFTA and SAG, none of their winners match. None of their acting winners match, which is crazy. So I think the Oscars is just going to do a mix of those winners. I don't think it's going to be all SAG winners win the Oscar, all BAFTA is going to win the Oscar. And we'll talk about that when we get to other races.
Yeah.
But
You're right. You're all making such great points. This race is complete chaos, and I'm here for it. Thank you.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed Angela Bassett didn't win because that meant I didn't get a perfect score. That was the one I got wrong.
Sorry, Matthew. Sometimes we just have to take that. We have to take the hits. Yeah. But Angela Bassett, I thought she was incredible in Wakanda Forever, and she was even better in What's Love Got to Do with It. And I wish she had another 10 Oscar nominations under her belt. I don't feel like she's going to get that prize, and I've been worried about this for a few weeks. And tonight, it really, really cemented in my mind that she's no longer the front runner. It's a 3-horse race, but you know what? Stephanie Hsu could still do it. Hong Chow could still do it. I just don't know, and that's good. Great. Also, Oscar voting starts in 3 days. It's perfect timing for Jamie Lee Curtis, and that was her moment. She really had to shine, and she did. She gave the best speech of the night, in my opinion. It was perfect.
And could I say? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And could I add, in a race where there are 2 performers from the same film, and they're both great in the film, if you're just watching the film, it'd be hard to pick who. And I probably wouldn't vote for Jamie Lee Curtis of the 2 if I was voting on the one I thought was best. But to have something like this, which cements for people who to pick of those 2 if they want to vote for that film, to have someone this SAG award has sort of separated maybe Jamie Lee and put her as the everything everywhere all at once contender. I think that is helpful for her heading into Oscar ballots going out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's in the Best Picture favorite.
Yeah.
Which is important. And Angela Bassett does not have a Best Picture nomination.
No. And she's in an MCU film, which is problematic for the Academy, I think. It is a little.
It is.
It is what it
I
is.
think the nomination is the win there.
Absolutely. I just believe, like, in years to come, that performance by Jamie Lee Curtis, just with that costume and the hair and the way that, I just feel like it's a really iconic performance for her. Like, one day, God help us, when we see it in memoriam segment and she's in it in 50 years' time or whatever, I think they'll show that. That's the performance of her career, in my opinion. I know it sounds hyperbolic, but I really, really loved it, and I feel like I'm not alone. And so that win tonight just made me think, okay, we have something here. I think she's going to take it home at the Oscars. So we'll see. In the meantime, we need to talk about supporting actor. Obviously, Ke-Huy Quan won. We all expected that. He has been winning everything pretty much, except for Barry Keoghan at the BAFTAs. It reminds me also that, according to Daniel Montgomery, our editor at Gold Derby, Banshee set a record tonight. Only 5 movies have gotten 5 nominations. I'm just reading this, and all but Banshees won at least one of them. Chicago, Doubt, Everything Everywhere, and Shakespeare in Love. Banshees walked home empty-handed, which is a real shame. That's my #1 film of the year. I loved it. I feel really bad that no one took home the award. They did pretty well at the BAFTAs, but not so well at the SAGs. But that being said, we've got a great winner with Kwan. What a legend! He's such a compelling performer. He's so lovable, and I hope he gets lots of work out of this, because I want to see more of him in films. What do you guys think? Talk me through the Best Supporting Actor category. Whoever wants to go, just talk over each other.
For me, he was the MVP of the film. For my so I was so happy to see him win. I'm here for his story arc. I'm here just he's just so great. He's been the sort of the real joy of this Oscar season for me. So it was just great to see him win this, although expected.
His comeback story is so great, and when a comeback story is married to a top-notch performance that, as Matt said, may be the best performance in the entire film. It's almost an irresistible combination. Plus in his speeches, it's not the same speech all over again. At every stop. So he's been winning friends everywhere he goes, and nothing is locked, but I think he's probably in a position to win easily.
Who else?
I'm just going to say one thing. There's no acting sweep this year, but he's definitely the safest of the 4 acting categories. Yeah. No question.
Good point. Because before tonight, we were saying Cate Blanchett's the only one that swept. No longer. Any thoughts about Kwan, Chris?
Next.
There's really not much.
Don't get me wrong. He delivers in his speeches. He's as he said, he's the first Asian American actor to win that category. It's going to be such a career achievement. And what else is there to say? He's got it. Like BAFTA, I don't think anyone's predicting it. Thinking his BAFTA loss is a detriment.
No.
Yeah. He's just the closest thing to a lock, and
and good.
We're good.
BAFTA just didn't like that film as much as they liked other films, and that's all it is. They didn't dislike the film. They nominated it across the board. It won editing at the BAFTAs. They just liked other stuff, and that's okay. That's totally cool. But
BAFTA's a European award, and All Quiet on the Western Front, a German film, and Banshees of Inisherin, a film set in Ireland. It's a lot closer to home with those BAFTA voters. So no surprise that they're the films that resonated with that award body. I guess one thing to watch out for is there is a significant British contingent in Academy voters, but I don't think enough to overcome Kwan in this. Like,
That's
you know,
right.
he's just But I think that explains a bit why the BAFTAs went that way.
Yeah, even the Aussie Academy didn't give their award to Everything Everywhere. It gave it to Avatar: The Way of Water, which was filmed in New Zealand. So, you know, this is a really American story. It not only is it about Asian immigrants, but it's a very American story. And I'm convinced finally that the Academy is going to go for it in a really big way, because for the last few weeks I've been prevaricating and thinking that maybe they won't like the hot dog fingers and the steak eaters probably won't go for the butt plugs. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong many times. All right. So we're going to talk about the next category, and that was Best Actress. I was holding my breath, right? Just waiting for them to say Cate Blanchett, because that's what I was expecting, because I still just couldn't quite believe that Michelle Yeoh could do it and that they would win all 4 awards. But I was so wrong, and I was really happy to see Michelle Yeoh up there. I've been a fan of hers for such a long time. I'm sure you're all the same. Everyone in that room just seems so happy to see her win. So we've got to talk about this now. What does this mean for Best Actress? Because I just think it opens it up. I don't think this means she's going to win the Oscar. I feel like it's just now we're all going to be tearing whatever hair we have left out up until Oscar night. Who wants to go first?
I'm still pretty confident Blanchett has it. Why?
Why is that?
Just because, like, she has just steamrolled out through the entire season until now. And then, I wasn't predicting Michelle Yeoh for SAG, but once Jamie Lee Curtis won, I was like, yep, Michelle Yeoh's winning. There's no way they go for that's the one category they lose at SAG. And I don't know. I just have this gut feeling that, like, you know, Blanchett, personally, I do think Blanchett has the better performance, but also I just feel like when you work backwards, because that's like the best way to predict the Oscar winner, going from picture and then how many it's going to win. When you work backwards, I feel like Tar will not go home empty-handed.
I agree.
And how much support it's had, and I don't have it winning anything else. So unless Everything Everywhere pulls a huge sweep, then I just think they are still gonna, like, you know, separate the categories again.
Yeah. Who else?
Like, clearly Tar is a film with good Academy support. Like, you've got, you know, it's one of the director nominees. It's got another nomination. So it's definitely, you know, a film that has respect and love from the Academy. But I just feel like Blanchett's performance is a lot more detached and a lot more like, if cold's the right word, I'm not sure, but like Michelle Yeoh's the character you want to give a hug to. And I just feel like that combined with the narrative, but I think just like it's the more empathetic performance. And that's why I've picked Yeoh tonight, and we'll be picking Yeoh for the Oscars, I think.
Okay.
I think I'm sticking with Blanchett because it kind of reminds me of the year when Viola Davis had won the SAG Award for The Help. And then the 3-time Oscar-winning legend gets her 3rd Oscar, Meryl Streep, for The Iron Lady. I'm not comparing Tar and The Iron Lady. I think Blanchett is much better, a world better than Streep was in The Iron Lady. But for people to say, oh, maybe not a 3rd Oscar, for this part feels to me like Robert De Niro in Raging Bull. It's an enormous performance. And I think that Oscar voters, when it comes down to it, will recognize it. But now that Yeoh has taken the SAG, we've got another race, and this is going to be fun.
Who hasn't had a chance to talk about this category yet? Go ahead.
So I'm in agreement with Chris and Tom. I switched to Blanchett for the Oscar not too long ago. Basically, Tom, for all the reasons you said. But I think what this shows is that, you know, as most categories tonight, it's still a race. and that, most of the major categories we're going to go in with a lot of suspense. And, Yo definitely delivered. And, I thought when she dropped that F-bomb, that was awesome.
So good.
And so, yeah, no, I'm going to have to really, really think hard about this category. I have Blanchett for now, but I could see myself switching to Yo shortly before the Oscars. I'm going to have to really think this one through.
Frances McDormand's win for No Man Land, like, it just puts the whole thing, whole future, giving someone an award so soon. It gives that whole, like, it gives us more doubt about that, because we now know that the Academy will not hesitate to give someone another win like that soon, or that, like, or just in general, like, numerically. So,
but I think McDormand squeaked that one out. I think the thing is that
Right.
was very fractured, to where you had 4 people, except for Vanessa Kirby, who had a legitimate chance of winning. And McDormand benefited from just the category lining up in her favor. And so that's why she won. But this is a different situation. And this is one of the best roles of Cate Blanchett's career. I would even go as far as saying her second best after Blue Jasmine. It's really, really that
cool. She's had such an amazing body of work. I personally would say the best work was in Elizabeth, but this is right up there. You know what, though? That Frances McDormand call, I actually think there is some merit to it, only because I just feel like beforehand, many people were thinking she's not going to win again. They've already awarded her. It's probably going to go to someone else, and that didn't eventuate. And also, we have to remember, we bring this up all the time, but Chadwick Boseman was supposed to win Best Actor for Ma Rainey, and they changed the whole ceremony around just to cater for that. And because of sentiment, people were thinking that would carry him over the line. Similarly, that sentiment for Michelle Yeoh, she's not passed away, but of course she's overdue, and she's representing Asian women and all that stuff. I don't think the Academy voters en masse care about that. And I think the Anthony Hopkins win for The Father shows you they just care about their favorite performances, the ones that are really devastating, dramatic, and that's Cate Blanchett. So that's why I just don't know what the hell to do. I really do. That's why I'm still going to and I'm going to hold on to that until the very end.
Yo's in the Best Picture front runner, though. And
true.
Where was Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? Like,
good point.
But also that's kind of been a little bit of a curse, having a lead actress performance in the Best Picture from her. The last person that did that was Hilary Swank for $1 Million Baby, and then oh wait,
what about
McDormand?
Frances McDormand, obviously.
Sorry, my bad. I completely forgot about her for a second, but
yes,
Hilary Swank was also the last person to do it. So I completely blanked on McDormand for a second.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Like it isn't as common as you would think, though.
That's true.
Like,
that's true. That's true. Anyway, I'm holding on to my Andrea Riseborough prediction because I can do whatever I like. All right, so pretty much. Penultimately, Best Actor. Okay, so rest in peace to the campaign for Colin Farrell. I'm really sorry about it. I was hoping he would take home some
condolences, Rob. Condolences to Rob.
Thank you. I'm really upset about it because I just think he was beyond phenomenal in The Banshees of Inisherin. Every single thing he did in that movie blew my mind. But I'm not an Academy voter. I'm not a SAG voter, so who the hell cares what I think? So look, we've got Bill Nighy and Adam Sandler really didn't have much of a shot here. I feel it was a 3-horse race. And when the envelope was being opened, I was waiting for them to say Austin, and then he said Brendan Fraser. A great win for Brendan Fraser. Whatever you might think of the film, I was a bit cool on The Whale. I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I do recognize it's a great performance, and he does have some narrative as well. But this opens up the race for Best Actor as well. We have 3 out of 4 acting categories this year are complete and utter chaos, and we are all excited about that, if nothing else. Who wants to talk about this big win for Brendan Fraser? Does this mean he's going to take home the Oscar, Jack?
I'm not going there yet.
Okay.
And I think, if anyone who saw me in the last segment saw that I was not very confident, but I was starting to gain confidence in Austin Butler. And after his BAFTA win last week, I was just ready for him to win this tonight, and then just this race to be wrapped up.
Right.
And Brendan Fraser gives a fantastic performance, and I'm not denying that at all. I personally was really hoping for Austin, but this race isn't over yet. But I also think something you allude to, Rob. SAG is more sentimental and more they love narratives more than maybe other groups. And Brendan Fraser also has more name recognition than Austin Butler, and in a SAG race that can definitely make the difference. And so his speech was fantastic. But given at BAFTA how we saw how Elvis and the Whale did with nominations, that's why I'm still going to stick with Austin Butler for the Oscar, but I now acknowledge that it's not over yet.
Okay. Who else?
No, go Tom.
Go ahead, Tom.
Go, Chris. You go ahead. Go.
I think it's over. I think Fraser's got it.
Wow.
Really? Okay.
He's not. Listen. Okay, he's not a lock, and he's not in a Best Picture nominee. And I also wasn't fond of The Whale. But I just feel in my gut of guts that like he just like Kiwi Kwan, like it's a similar trajectory as far as like their like career stops. They have like that career achievement. They have that bigger narrative. They just pretty much operate through. They're really good at campaigning. He plays a sentimental character. You can't not feel for his character when you watch that movie. And I said this last time, all he needed was a televised speech. He's so good. Him like Kiwi Kwan. They're so good at like tugging at the heartstrings in their speeches. And as much as the Academy is not sentimental, they're also not big on rewarding younger actors. And I don't think anyone knew who Austin Butler was before like Elvis came out. So that might be, and SAG also loves awarding the biopic performance. So so Austin Butler really had some momentum to win, especially after he won that BAFTA. And the fact that he didn't, I think it's a setback, because I feel like Austin Butler, before BAFTA and SAG happened, I felt like Austin Butler had to win both in order to have a lock on this category, and he didn't. So I feel now that Fraser has it, especially with the timing of that voting is in a few days, I just feel that Fraser has it.
Can I respond to one thing really quickly that you mentioned?
Oh, please.
Of course.
Yeah. You mentioned about the narrative and the speech. That's a part of it, but that's not everything. If that was all of it, we would be saying the words Academy Award winner Glenn Close, who also got the crowd to her feet for her speeches. So I don't think that that's everything. And we do have to remember that The Whale is a very polarizing movie. And so even though he pulled it off here, it might not fare as well with the Academy. And then with younger actors, we have Eddie Redmayne, who was just 2 years older than Austin Butler was before he won his Oscar. But anyway, I digress. It's a race. I acknowledge it, but I don't think anyone can call this just yet.
I have doubts about everybody. So the Academy clearly doesn't like The Whale. It didn't even get an adapted screenplay nomination, which really shocked me, because that was almost a given, because that category was so open, and no Best Picture. So Fraser's coming in with a handicap that way. If Butler had taken both of these, we'd be done talking already. The Academy, yes, it is not as sentimental as SAG, but they do like a good story. And Fraser, it's true for Kiwi Kwan and true for Fraser. Their emotional speeches, I don't think are rehearsed. I think it's genuinely coming from the heart. And every time I've seen Brendan Fraser give a speech, I saw him the other night at the Hollywood Critics Association. He was on the verge of tears, and it was not manipulative. He just is so humbled by what's happening to him. this plus the SAG win, I think, is going to be enough. But boy, that BAFTA win is for Butler is a big one too. I am genuinely baffled by this category, and Butler's in a Best Picture nominee, so that's an important plus too.
Yeah, like for me, this is a real jump ball category. Like I can see both winning. Like, you know, sometimes you go like, I can't see any of these people winning. Like none of them seem like, well, this one I actually think they both seem like Oscar winners, like they to me. So we'll see how it all pans out. I do think, look, for me, I think there's some legitimate concerns about the depiction of obesity in The Whale, and it is polarizing. But when I was watching that film, I was just captivated by Brendan Fraser, and I was just by him and the other actors in the film. To be honest, it was such a film grounded in the performances, and I was just so wrapped in those. Like, it just felt like an actor's movie, and I feel like that. You know, it's hard to watch that film and not be struck and moved by Brendan Fraser, and I just think, like, for me, that's why I had him in front for tonight. I'm thrown a bit though now, because I was thinking, when everyone's like saying, "Oh, Matt, you're an idiot for picking Fraser. Butler's got it." I was going to then switch to Butler for the Oscars, but now Fraser's won this. I feel like I need to stay on him, because I feel like, so at the moment I'm still with Fraser, but I sort of thought, because so many other people were saying Austin Butler, that I'd be switching tonight to him. But Fraser's good. But I still I could see them both winning. Like, the arguments felt like Elvis is a film that you could see the Academy might want to show some love to. But when I come to the performance, I think Fraser's the one that will appeal to voters more.
Yeah.
I mean, this is usually the argument of, if we're wrong for the right reasons.
Whichever side you're on.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I know. There's so much.
Rob, it'll turn out, you never know. Oscars will end up just loving Banshees of Inisherin, and we'll see a sweep of that film.
Can you imagine?
Oh, my heart.
My heart skipped a beat just then.
I don't want it yet. Sorry, I'm sorry for giving you false
What I love about this particular year, to be completely honest, is there are so many contenders that if they win, I'll be happy. And so I feel like, and won't be disappointed for the ones that didn't win. And normally I usually have one or two horses in the race that I'm really hoping for. And then if anyone else wins, I get really cranky. This year, like in actress, there's 3 of them. In supporting actress, it's pretty much all of them. Same with supporting actor. And then in actor itself, pretty much all of them as well. Like any of them win and I'll be clapping and be in tears. So it's a really good year for film, and I'm very, very happy and excited that the Oscars are going to be a race. Remember all those years where we would have it would be like a routine. You'd have Globes, SAGs, BAFTAs, Critics' Choice, all the other crap, and it's just the same people winning each time. It's so boring, and it really diminishes all the other people in the running. Like, share the wealth a little bit. It's not just one person who's the best, and that's it. Like, this is fantastic. More please, more please. So look, we have a few more minutes. We should talk about the final category, Everything Everywhere All at Once. The ensemble won. They took home 4 SAG Awards tonight. That's a record. They swept. But when James Hong was introduced and he got to speak, I had tears in my eyes, because I love the nod to tradition and to veterans and respect and acknowledgement that he gets as a very hard working actor for such a long time. He's 94 years old. Imagine if you look like that when you're 94. I'll be lucky to reach 84. I'm just so thrilled for the whole thing. I think that was the moment. Honestly, before that, I tweeted Jamie Lee Curtis winning and Michelle Yeoh's tear was my favorite moment of award season so far. And then that moment with James Hong overtook it. It really, really impressed me. And Everything Everywhere is not my favorite film. It's not even in my top 10. I liked it. I've seen it 2 or 3 times. It's a great movie, not one of my faves, and I'm thrilled for it winning and getting all this recognition. And so that makes me feel like, if I feel that way and I have slightly conservative views on how I watch movies and cinema, then I reckon a lot of steak eaters will probably go along for the ride. What do you guys want to talk? What do you want to say about the final win? Because it was really cool.
Yeah, I might just chip in because I need to duck out because it's about to get pretty noisy where I am. But it's look, I'm a bit like you, Rob. It wasn't my favorite film of the year, but it's great to see it getting that recognition because it is such an outside the box film. There's never a film like this that has won Best Picture at the Oscars, so that's always nice to see something new and different. And oh no, here's trouble.
I wanted to say,
Matt, you're leaving.
Here
Matt
we
is
go.
I'm
leaving.
leaving. Yeah. Oh, Marcus is here. I'm out, guys. No.
I haven't spoken in years.
But no, it's great, and I think it's going to be hard to overtake at the Oscars now. I think the film that I really thought as a threat to it was sort of maybe Banshees of Inisherin, who didn't miss a beat with any of the nominations and popped up in a few unexpected places. And SAG was really an award where it could have had a big night to sort of get on the track, and it didn't really. So I think Everything Everywhere is where we're headed, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Matt, are you ducking out?
Yeah, I'll duck out. A bell's about to go, and it's about to get a bit noisy.
Matt's a teacher. He's at work. Thank you so much for making the time, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Matt. Have a great day.
See you guys. Bye.
Everybody, I wanted to save the best till last. Look who has joined us. It's Marcus James Dixon. Like, he is literally a superstar. And can I just say one thing? We've already talked about TV, but do you know that Marcus Dixon came 8th out of 2,507 people predicting our TV awards? 8th.
Stop it. What?
Don't.
How do you do it?
No, that never happens. Like my predictions are always crap. So, I guess every once in a while, like a broken clock is right twice a day. So this is my broken clock.
I'm so
the reason I did so well is because Jean Smart, not a lot of people were picking her, and Jason Bateman, hardly no one was picking him. But we've seen over the years, SAG really loves these repeat TV winners: Alec Baldwin, Orange is the New Black, JLD. So when I see, Jean Smart's the only person from last year that was even eligible because there was no Ted Lasso, there was no Succession, no Squid Game. So they were going to give it to one repeat. So I picked her. And then I'm like, well, Jason Bateman's kind of a repeat from 2 years ago. So I picked him too. So those two reasons are why I did well. Otherwise, my predictions everywhere else were crap.
Imagine if you had picked Sam Elliott or Jessica Chastain, you would have been number 1.
Can you imagine? I mean, Sam Elliott had about 12 people at Gold Derby were predicting him. That's insane.
That's correct. I don't know where that came from, but I'm here for it. So, Marcus, we were talking about James Hong and Everything Everywhere All at Once winning ensemble. Matt had a few words to say, but let's all chime in. Marcus, would you like to kick us off in terms of that James Hong moment and how amazing?
Oh yeah, I said in our group live blog, whatever we call it, that turning the SAG ensemble speech into a James Hong tribute was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. It was amazing. I'm going to rewatch it again later tonight. It was, I can't believe, this is his first ever SAG award, right? For anything. Like, he's never been in an ensemble that had won.
No.
So, I mean,
I don't think he's won any awards really in America.
Amazing.
Don't you think it was genius as well from the campaign? I guess if they decided, let's do this, it's just genius. Like, they are.
At first, when they all get up there and read their speeches from the papers, I'm like, oh, this is fun. And then they're like, and now the moment. I'm like, okay. I love it.
Wow.
I think the takeaway on this is going to be what a classy move it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed respect. And I think the Academy responds to respect.
Yes.
And that just was the cherry on top. The deal is sealed.
Respect. And like, they A24 and whoever is behind their campaign really thought this through and thought, let's do it this way, because there are some older people in the Academy who perhaps maybe didn't respond to the film itself because it's so weird, but they called that out. It's a weird movie. It's got this, it's got that. Did you even get it?
Mm-hmm.
We've got a 94-year-old actor, a veteran who's never won. He's the oldest SAG Award winner ever. And now he gets to they all get to see him get the respect that maybe they want one day. And I just feel like it was genius. Genius. Who else? Jack, you go.
I'm going to pass on to someone else. Sorry. But that was an amazing moment. And that's all I have to say about that. It was just really, really cool just to see, this really great night for that movie. I agree with you, Rob. I wouldn't say it's my number one of the year, but it's definitely within my top 5. And I actually went to, I watched it again recently, but in theaters, because it actually opened back up in theaters here in Nashville. And seeing it that way made me love and appreciate even more the second time around. And so it's really, it was a really great night for that movie, and I was happy to see it.
Agreed.
Mm.
Yeah, it was like the only way to do it. It was an Asian way to do it. Like our tradition is we always respect at the elders. And it was such, I didn't think we would get like a career achievement speech from him, which he should get at SAG once very soon.
Yeah.
And same with everyone. EEAO was not my number one, but it means a lot to a lot of people. And now it is officially the front runner with its PGA win overcoming a preferential ballot. It's just I don't know. We either steamrolls or we wait for the backlash and see if that's enough. I think the only thing in its way is that, given BAFTAs and I don't know the Australian Academy and even the Golden Globes, we still are unsure how it performs with international voters on a preferential ballot. And I think that's the only thing that is standing in its way. But also the fact that like there isn't one clear alternative to that to reward. Maybe it's all quiet because of the BAFTAs. At this point, I think Banshees is done. I think Top Gun is definitely done. I would even have Fabelmans over those two. So who knows what that alternative could be? If there isn't, then I think it has it.
Yeah, Marcus, is there an alternative now? I just don't see it.
I think All Quiet is the alternative, but I mean, no directing nomination. It should have gotten in directing over Triangle of Sadness, and I still can't get over that. And no editing was the other big one. I mean, just last year, Coda was able to win it without directing and editing, but it's kind of a different scenario this time around. And I don't know. I don't know what to put in number 2, but I am going to put All Quiet for now because it's the only other movie that has won something really big, that being
true.
That.
Yeah, and it won with support that from groups that include Academy voters as opposed to Critics Awards.
Yeah. And All Quiet's done so well across the board with the Academy, apart from director, of course.
Yeah.
I expect All Quiet to win a bunch of awards on Oscar night, to be honest, even after tonight. But the love for Everything Everywhere is real, everybody. And I really think after tonight, I'm feeling way more comfortable with a preferential ballot, PGA, tick, SAG, actors, tick. It has everything it needs. It didn't get BAFTA. BAFTA is very prescient, but I just feel like it has everything it needs to ride that wave when Oscar voting opens on the 2nd of March. I just think a lot of people will still be in that mood. They'll be thinking about James Hong. They'll be thinking about Michelle Yeoh. She got all those shout outs tonight. Her speech was lovely. What a race. What an exciting Oscar season. But I think that really brings us to the end. We've been on the air for just over an hour, and I think it's time to say goodnight. I want to thank Chris Sang and Tom O'Brien and Jack Maheens and Matt Noble for joining us. And Marcus, thank you so much for coming in at the last second. We really appreciate it. And everybody, make sure you stick with Gold Derby. Don't forget that on Wednesday morning, Pacific time, the Gold Derby Awards are going to be presented. We are so proud of this show. You have no idea. It's amazing. The winners are amazing. We have 22 out of 22 acceptance speeches, and some of them are so good. Please check it out. Don't forget. And don't forget also to keep your predictions up to date because we are checking them. We look at them from time to time. And of course, the whole of Hollywood is watching us all the time. They all know about Gold Derby. They're all checking where their odds are at. And that's all because of the power of our users and their voices. So Thanks everyone for joining us, and look out for more coverage next weekend for the WGA. In the meantime, I'm Rob Licuria. Have a great evening.